Hello, viewers. Welcome to a commentary channel. Now, I've just found my old cassette player, and when I was about 36, I wrote a lot of songs and I used to tape myself. So I'm going to play and let's see. I haven't listened to this, so let's see what we get. Okay, so let's have to press this.
So I'm not responsible for the quality. I'm just singing songs that I wrote. Songs I haven't titled and I only wrote it today. And it goes like this. I can't help this, such a tragedy. Once knew happiness, love's sweet parody, bitter bliss, jealousy in the kiss, such a comedy, all its shallowness gave me ecstasy, so worth all this. I can't help this, it's my melody, pain and happiness, such a tragedy, it's just one kiss. That's it.
How did you think of that song? Let's see if I've changed. I don't remember it. I can't help this, such a tragedy. It's my melody, in just a kiss. I'm sorry, it's been 30 odd years, and I will play a few more as I have to, fast forward this tape and see what other little gems I've sung. And I just want to share this with my life. When I was in grade 5, so that's 10 years old, I auditioned for the school choir. Yet I'd made the Brisbane choir, and I was supposedly an alto in the Brisbane choir. But he was a very famous musician, and he happened to change his career into a school teacher. And I remember being very scared of him. And I went before him, and he denied me because I just froze up. And he said, sing something, and I'm going, la, la. And he says, I can't hear you. And because I was so frightened and he couldn't hear me, I didn't make the choir. Yet I was in the Brisbane choir. A few years later, I'm now about 20, early stages of pregnancy, and I got taught by the Brisbane school, the Brisbane musical school. I got taught to sing by a teacher who had a beautiful voice. If you can imagine the old jazz, bluey, smoky voices, she had one of those. That she told me I had a good voice, and the songs that she got me to sing were Falling in Love Again by Elvis Presley, and the one from Jesus Christ Superstar, I Don't Know How to Love Him. And there was another song, The Rose, these were all the songs that I was taught to sing. A little bit later, I could no longer continue in this because I was pregnant. And when you're pregnant, it's hard to get your breath. But then in my mid-20s, I met a guy called Barry Voss, Voss, who is the brother of Sandra Voss, a very famous opera singer. And Barry had his own studios in Townsville, and I just did I Can't Help Falling in Love with You, a track for my husband. Sadly, it was on an old tape because that's what we had in those days, and that tape is lost forever because it's broken, never can be fixed again. It's in pieces. And I wanted to be an opera singer. I'm also on a few Christian records as a backup singer, singing Hallelujah. Easy, you know Hallelujahs. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. That kind of thing. I love the song, Da-dun, 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 da-dum, 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 da-dun, hallelujah. I love that song. Anyway, I also got divorced in my mid-20s, and I decided I was going to audition for a few bands, and I didn't get anywhere. I did audition for this one band, and he said the lead guitarist, who was the head of the band, said that he only had one day to find a backup singer, backup vocalist before he'd go on a tour in Australia. He said I had the best voice he had heard since asking for auditions, but because I didn't know his songs and I was expected, you can't learn a song when you've only heard it once. You need at least a few hours, and he didn't have that time. Later on, when I was then in my, again, late 20s, mid-20s, I had a CB radio, and I was living in Townsville. Used to go up the top of Townsville, and on the top of the Townsville, I would get on my CB radio and I would sing this. Something in the wind is calling my name, and it's telling me that things are not the same. In da 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 da, in da 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 da, da da dun. I'm on the top of the world looking down on creation, and the only explanation I can find is the love that I found ever since you've been around. Your love puts me at the top of the world. And people on the other end of the CB radio listening would say, Jem, get off the radio, get off the radio. But I actually, because of that, me singing on top of Castle Hill in Townsville, I landed a singing position with another band, which didn't last very long. And I was mixed up as a child. One time I wanted to be a ballerina, another time wanted to be a model, but my mother used to say, you're not pretty enough, you're not tall enough to be a model or a ballerina. And I also at 16 had a chance to join a rock if they were called Rock Easy, something like that, band of 16-year-olds, missed that chance too. And I always, looking back at life, wanted to be famous either as an author, and I am a prolific author. I've written more than 20 books available on Amazon. Or I wanted to be a rock star. That when I look at it, and I look at people like Pink, where it doesn't matter what happens, whether she's got a headache, whether she's that time of the month, the show goes on. Not only does the show go on, she does acrobatics. And I, as soon as I get a headache, I'd say, nah, not doing it, just give their tickets back. Or I'd say, nah, too tired, can't do it today. Or I could have been lost in substance abuse like so many others have. You know, Amy Winehouse, they told me you have to go to rehab. And I said, no, no, no. I can't sing like Amy Winehouse. My voice, once upon a time, I really aimed to be an opera singer, and I had a range of 22 notes. My top note, if you can imagine a piano, was the third note from the top of the piano. So if you imagine that top, the third note from it. And as you get older, your voice changes. I now only have a range of 8 notes because you should keep, if you're a singer, you've got to practice every day. And even now, just singing before you, I didn't give you my best performance because when you should sing, you should have your chest open so you can breathe air, not me sitting like this all crouchy. Anyway, that's just sharing another part of my life. I was also very good at poetry. I won contests online at poetry. My poems are in printed books. There used to be a site called poetry.com, and you could submit poetry, and if the editor liked your poem, you got in the edition, and I got in the edition every year until it was no longer available. And they would invite people to go to America, and they would have famous stars there or celebrities who would hand you awards. But living in Australia, it was impossible for me to get to America. Anyway, I decided to turn a lot of my poetry into music and songs. And that's how this came about. And later on, I'll find another song and I'll play it for you. I hope you have enjoyed this video. It's another look at my life, and it's a look at aspirations. And there was another time in my life that because I love colour, I thought about just colouring people's hair. I'm also quite good as an artist, but not freehand. I'm very good at copying. I'm also very good at drawing houses, drawing architecture, because it's all about maths and geometry. It's all about perspective, getting things in perspective. And once you learn that, I promise you, you will never draw a house with a box and a triangle again. And I wish I could show you some of my drawings, but unfortunately, I have moved so much, they've got lost. And that hurt me more than my possessions, my dolls, because I had artwork and I had poetry and I had books that I had written go missing. And this happens sometimes when you move. Removalists just forget a box. So I'm sharing another part of my life and wishing you all a good night. It's a Saturday night and I feel alright. Look at me. They call me Lady Bump, Lady Bump. Ooh, I was just being silly then, not serious. All right, love, light, and blessings. And thanks, guys. I just quickly did try to audition for The Voice, but I'm no longer the powerhouse I used to be. And the other sad thing is, all my children inherited musical talents. My oldest two can play the piano, my youngest the guitar, and all three can sing. Now, two children had a different father from the third, my youngest, and there's no music in the paternal side of any of them. So art and music has come down through me. Let me know your talents. Thank you. Very humble by every view and every comment. Thank you. Bye.